Good evening. My name is Gary Hovis. I'm the president of the PIP organization, which is an acronym for the Pennsylvania Independent Petroleum Producers. Thank you for this opportunity to present the following remarks from the perspective of the shallow, conventional oil and gas industry in Pennsylvania. We extend that welcome to other industry representatives here this evening, sister oil and gas organizations, local legislators, and all those in attendance. Our organization was founded in 1985, 29 years ago, in response at that time to the state's Legislative Act 223. We've been working with the industry during that time. Our current membership is just over 300 members today. At one time it was a lot larger when we had a lot more people in the field. Beginning several years ago, a new energy formation was discovered deep below the surface in Pennsylvania, extending across the state from the northeast to the southwest. An exploration frenzy began, and after several years of development, the state legislature realized they needed to develop regulations, new regulations, to cover the exploration, development, and production of this newfound source of energy from the Marcellus and Utica shales. This exploration, drilling, stimulation, and development was much more involved than that of the conventional vertical stripper wells already existing across central and western Pennsylvania. Consequently, new procedures and regulations were generated to cover these new non-conventional wells, and that effort became law, Act 13, in February of 2012. Other than the bonding requirements, all the new regulations under Act 13 designed to control this new breed of unconventional wells, essentially wells with horizontal legs, is being considered to also apply to the traditional stripper wells in Pennsylvania. This legacy class of conventional shallow wells is an entirely different animal than the deep unconventional well this Act 13 set out to regulate. Here are some of the major differences. Shallow wells can be drilled and stimulated in a matter of days, require a fraction of the surface area disturbance, require less than a fraction of a percent of the frac well, uses minimal truck traffic to the well site of that required by the Marcellus type well, and really doesn't require stoned and topped access road due to excessive truck traffic, and well sites can be restored in a matter of days. Let's look now specifically to a couple of these points. Item 2, surface area disturbance. A typical well pad for a shallow well is somewhere in a range of 50 feet by 50 feet. Maybe the extreme case might be 100 by 100, or somewhere around 2,500 square feet. Typical Marcellus well sites are 5 acres, or about 200,000 square feet, and sometimes even greater. And that doesn't include the space required for storing frac water. Big difference. Item 3, typical water requirements for fracking a shallow well is around 25,000 gallons. The minimum water requirement for a Marcellus well is 4 million gallons, more than 160 times that of the shallow well. A shallow well can be fracked in less than a day, where the non-conventional might take weeks or even months. One of the most onerous threats to the shallow stripper well industry today is the proposed change of 78 regulations under the new Act 13. These regulations, as we well know, are now up for comment. We recommend separate regulations for the two very different types of wells. New, the regulations can apply to the unconventional, and the previous Chapter 78 regulations can apply to the conventional oil and gas. Wells that have been produced for, in some cases, over 100 years, going back to the first well drilled in Titusville, Pennsylvania. If this doesn't happen, it to sign the death warrant to conventional shallow oil and gas industry.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you.